Hello, everybody. Once again, thanks for joining me here today on another Changing Lives webcast. I'm Don Clayton. I am the Chief Talent Officer at FranServe. FranServe is the world's largest franchise consulting and expansion organization. I mean, we represent hundreds of franchise concepts, some of the hottest and coolest brands all over the world. Today, I have a guest with me. He is Hunter Cherry, out of the great state of Texas. Hunter
Sure.
is one of our youngest franchise consultants, certified franchise consultants at FranServe. And I wanted Hunter to be my guest today because he's going to talk to us about Generation Z. He is Gen Z. And I want to talk to Hunter about working with Gen Z clients. We're not going to disclose your age, Hunter, but you are Gen Z. And
Yes,
so,
sir.
but before we start there, Hunter, you're a very successful FranServe certified consultant. And I want to ask you, how long have you been a FranServe certified consultant? And how did you get started in the FranServe business?
Yeah, great question, Don. And first and foremost, thank you for having me. Glad to be here today. So I started right around 18. I am
2000, wait a minute, hold on. 2018?
no, sir. It would have been 2020. And
So
so
when you said 18, are you talking age 18 or
I'm talking it. Yes, sir. I'm talking age, and I didn't mean to age drop there, but there's no better time to get started than now. So
I
that
love it,
was
man. I love it, dude.
yes,
That's
sir.
great. So you started when you were 18 years old in
Yes, sir.
2022. So how did you learn about FranServe? How'd you get started? Just tell us.
So my parents were franchisors. They built a model from the ground up, and I watched them grow that business from the time that I was just a young lad, and the word franchising and growing franchises and so on and so forth. That was just a term that was being thrown around every day in the household, and so one thing led to the next of my parents being franchisors. They were in FranServe brokerage. Their brand was and FranServe consultants, as great as they are, they were doing a lot of deals with Delta Life Fitness, the franchise that my parents represented, and so man, that was really my point of entry within consulting.
So it's a family affair, right? It's a
Yes,
family
sir.
business. So
Yes,
you
sir.
came in, I mean, you had the opportunity to work with your parents and your dad, Josh, obviously, who has a lot of experience in franchising. So you had that help there. And you've been now working as a consultant for 3 years. Do you find it being a little bit of a challenge being from the Gen Z? Let me ask you this. Are you working primarily with Gen Zs, your peers, or are you working with the older population, maybe like baby boomers, or maybe like me and Gen X?
Yeah.
And tell me, how does that diversification works? Like, who is your typical candidate that you're working with?
Yeah, great question. I would say if we were to put it into at an age range, I would say anywhere from 30 to 40, and of course going up to 50 as well. We've had multiple candidates in all different ages, but the biggest part of consulting is being able to connect with the candidate, right? And followed behind that is the brands that you're representing and that you're working with closely. You want to make sure that the candidate and the persona that you're pursuing in candidates match those brands. And so I have found best that the sweet spot of about 30 to 40 years old. Those are usually guys that they may have a younger family or they may not have a family at all, and they're all bought in. They're ready to get into franchising, and so that's my persona. I would say a good age range is around there, and man, it all comes down to the models that you're representing and that you're choosing to present, and then the persona of who you're presenting that to.
So great answer, man. Really a great answer. I have a question because I know that you're an athlete. So being an athlete and how has being an athlete and having that experience helped you to develop into this superhero, young Gen Z franchise consultant who's working with people 10, 15, 20 years your senior?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. Great question. It takes a lot of discipline first and foremost. On as most student athletes, they come up on an upbringing of discipline, and followed behind that is being able to being able to always keep your head up in the game of ball, whatever that may be, baseball, football, soccer, any of the above, basketball. There is always going to be times where you're going to get you're going to get a jab and it's not going to feel good and you're going to fail in some way, shape, or form. So that's where you got to pick your head back up and keep running the ball. And so that's with consulting and the age that I got into consulting and being able to have the maturity level to continue to pick my head up and day after day, no after no, being able to consult people and make those introductions has I do truly do credit that to my background, not only with sports but with how my dad Josh has how I've watched him, take control of a franchise model himself, and you're always going to take blows no matter what industry you're in, but as long as you can wake up every day and continue to put one foot in front of the other, that's all that matters truly.
Great answer. Because, you're absolutely right. And one of the things that we love as consultants is working with athletes and veterans,
Yes, sir.
folks in the military and athletes, because they know how it is to get knocked down, but they
Yes, sir.
also know how to get back up
Absolutely.
and keep going and keep pressing forward. So that's one reason why we love working with athletes and veterans. So let me ask you this. So when you are working with, say, someone that happens to be a peer of yours, a fellow Generation Z, and you're looking at, so let's just say your friends, for example. Let's
Yeah,
say
yeah,
your your teammates, peers at school. I'm assuming the majority of them went to college,
yes, sir. They did.
and some of them may have went to community college, and some may have went to university.
Yep.
They're probably still there.
Yes,
So
sir. They are.
so when you chose this path, you've already told us about your parents and having that franchise influence. Was there discussion in your household about options? Do you want to go this route or do you want to go the school route?
Yeah, great question, Don. Absolutely. And kind of the uncertainty that Gen Z has with their career and pursuing a college degree is not unnoticeable. It's not gone unnoticeable. I think that's oftentimes students don't necessarily know what they're looking to do in life, and so I looked at it in two ways. I can, I can become a consultant, go through the certification, get to know the ins and outs of the business, or I could pursue a student debt loan of some way, shape, or form. And my biggest where I'm going at with this, Don, is I along with many of my peers had no idea where I was looking to take that college degree, so I wasn't comfortable in quite committing and pulling the trigger to doing so. But FranServe and just kind of learning the lay of the land and the team that you guys are building. It's really reassuring, even for Gen Z, to jump on a call with you or Alicia and just kind of understand some of your options outside of college, right? And fortunate for me, I was able to connect with you guys and was welcomed with open arms. And so that's kind of been my deciding factor, is not really having the surety of the guarantee of a university. There's no guarantee behind a university, right? There's no guarantee in FranServe, but I was willing to balance out the goods and the bads, and I think the FranServe route was the best choice that I've made so far.
What's really cool about your journey, Hunter, is that you actually have been with us for 3 years as a consultant,
Yes, sir.
and it's not as if any university is going to close their doors. So the transfer of opportunity is extremely flexible. We were talking before we started this interview, we were talking about some of the learning curves and things that you were doing at 18, 19, 20 when you were still a consultant. But the thing about working as a consultant, someone your age, is that you're not tied down. You don't
Right.
have a corporate job where you have to go into an office and work 9 to 5 and then fight that traffic. I mean, my
Yes, sir.
goodness. And so
Oh, yeah.
you have the flexibility to do other things. And my word, if you ever wanted to go back to school, you could go back to school. And guess what? You could go back to school at 21, 25, 30, 40, and the earnings that you've made with the FranServe business could just pay cash for that college education, and you don't have to worry about a student loan at that point.
Yes, sir.
So you
Yes,
you
sir.
have so many options, and because of your youth, those options are enormous. And for that, I congratulate you. I congratulate you on your success.
Thank
I
you.
congratulate you on basically just taking an opportunity and running with it and
Yes, sir.
flourishing with it. And
Yes, sir.
so you've done a phenomenal job. Hunter, there very well may be people out there that are like, hey, I want to talk to this guy. I want to talk to him. I want to learn from him because you've learned a lot in 3 years. You've helped a lot of people.
Yes,
And
sir.
so if they want to work with you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you, Hunter?
Yeah, great question. Reach out to me at hunter at Fran Placement, FRAN placement, one word.com, hunter at franplacement.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me. I live and die by that email. And so in doing so, also going to franplacement.com and inquiring, filling out some more information about who you are, what you're looking for, your investment criteria. There is a lot of helpful information on franplacement.com to get you started in the right direction. And then followed behind that, it'll get, me and a potential candidate connected. So yes, sir. If anybody is willing to learn a little bit about the franchising and getting into a franchise, please feel free to reach out at franplacement.com.
That is awesome. Also,
Yes, sir.
follow you on LinkedIn as well. You have a lot of
Absolutely.
great information on LinkedIn too. I know you've been very busy. You're on a lot of podcasts and different social media platforms out there. So, once
Yes,
again,
sir.
Hunter, thanks so much, dude. Tell your mom and dad we say hello, but thank you for joining us here today on another Changing Lives webcast. I'm Don Clayton, Chief Talent Officer at FranServe. I've been your host.
Yes,
If you have
sir.
any questions for me or you need anything from me out there, you can always email connect@franserve.com. Again, that's connect@franserve.com. And until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks,
Yes,
Hunter.
sir. Thank you, Don.